not even need Bauer's game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, another special Bauer Spotlights review. So the Bauer Spotlight segment is a segment I do for the Game Crafter each month where I spotlight a different Game Crafter game. I do a gameplay video, I do a setup video, and then I do a review of it. So technically, this is a paid review, but I'm still going to be giving you my honest opinion, as I always do, but I wanted to mention that from the forefront. So Breakaway Football is from Uplink Underground, and it is for 1 to 2 players, take about 90 minutes to play, and it's for ages 12 plus. Now that being said, that sounded very simplistic there. It's not, because the box actually just says 2 players. The rule booklet says 1 to 4 players, and in actuality, it's a 1 to 2 player game. So there are some definite polish issues that I'm going to be mentioning along the way, and I just wanted to mention that at the forefront because I'm going to be talking mostly about the gameplay and what I liked and didn't like about the gameplay, but I did want to mention that polish issue there. So Breakaway Football is a simulation game in which you and another person or you and an AI are going to go head-to-head, and you are going to be the coach. You are going to be calling the plays. You're going to be deciding which ones you run. You're going to be looking at your plays and doing clock management, because there's a lot of really cool aspects of this game that we're going to talk about. Now, let's get to the pros and let's get to the cons, and I think they're really going to intertwine in a lot of different things. So first, on the con side, this is absolutely a game that I cannot recommend to you if you are not a football fan. If you are not a football fan, you are going to want to steer clear of this. And the big reason why is that if you are not a football fan, this game could feel incredibly fidgety, because even if you are a football fan, this game still can feel fidgety. And I'll give you an example. So the rule booklet, which is a pretty well done rule booklet with an asterisk, is 18 pages long, and it pretty much is broken down how you'd expect it. Components, and then setup, and then the gameplay, and then the game day cards, which I'll talk about later. But then it starts to go into all the nooks and crannies of the game, because there are lots of nooks and crannies in football, and in this game, there's lots of nooks and crannies. They tried to cover a whole plethora of different things, and I'll give you an example. So they talk, the next segment is about breakaways, but there's also offensive breakaways and defensive breakaways, and they work slightly different. There's the challenge flags, which are a really cool aspect of the game, but the thing is, if you're not losing, you cannot get additional challenge flags. So there's like little extra rules inside of that additional rule. There's penalties and how the penalties work and how penalties are different when you're near the goal line. There's audibles, there's turnovers, but the turnovers are different depending on if you have the fumble or if you have the interception. There's the clock management system, which is, oh my gosh, absolutely genius, as I'm about to tell you in the pros, but it is its own beast. There's the end of half, there's the timeouts and how the timeouts work, and you're like, timeouts? Are there really timeouts in this game? Yes, and they work incredibly well thematically, but it's an additional layer to the game that you'll have to learn. There's the first down system, which is actually really nice, but once again, you do have to learn it. There's how the scoring works, how there's the extra points work, the 2-point conversion works, how the field goals work, the dual use cards, which have 1, 2, 3, not 4, but 5 different ways you can use the cards, but these things are genius as well. There's how the safeties work, there's how the onside kicks works, there's how the punting works, and then there's the touchbacks, the punt returns, the special rules section, which is pretty much just everything, but these are like situational ones that they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to check this because they're not gonna happen too often, or they might happen sometimes, but not terribly often. You have the prevent defense and how those cards work. You have the low percentage passing, and then how you have to actually flip over a card and see if there's red or green text on the work. You have the Hail Mary rules, you have the overtime rules, the sudden death overtime, the QB kneel, and then this is my favorite part of the rule booklet. It makes me laugh. We've talked about everything else, but these are the advanced rules. So if you're feeling comfortable with those first 216 rules, then you might be ready for the 3 rules of late half incompletions, coffin corner punting, and icing the kicker. Really, at this point, can we just throw those into the rules? Like, I don't feel... hopefully you get what I'm saying here. But that's not all. Because nowhere in these rules do they mention how to play the single-player version of the game. Which means there's also these rules. And I like these rules for one very specific reason. And that is, they are pretty thorough. Most of the time, you're going to be able to find what you want in this rule booklet. It'll be relatively easy a lot of the time because it does have a nice table of contents at the front. And it's a well-done rule booklet. This, however, is not nearly as much. It's 2 pages, and you will legitimately be asking yourself, is there a 3rd page I'm missing? Because the solo version of the game has the potential to be absolutely brilliant. And I'm not exaggerating here. I could see people getting obsessed with this game, the type of people who play like Statomatic baseball and wrestling and all that sort of stuff, and really getting focused on this game and running whole seasons and simulations and playing against the artificial intelligence and all sorts of stuff like that. Because the artificial intelligence they put in this game is really, really good. Like, it's great. But with how specific those rules are and how there's rules for literally every single thing in the game, they don't include all those rules when it comes to how the artificial intelligence works, and that's disappointing. You're left doing this thing where it's like, I think this is when they would use this because it makes sense, but I would much rather have the game tell me this is in fact when they want to use it, because part of the beauty of this game, and we're going to talk more about this in the pros, is that the teams are all drastically different, and I haven't even begun to cover that. We're on the cons. So, I normally don't take notes with any of my reviews. It just kind of pops out of my head, but I have such strong feelings about this game. I did want to write some stuff down, so I'm just going to scatter it out to you. The solo game felt like an afterthought. You know, it's not in the rule booklet. It's just kind of crammed in here. They're folded up pages. It feels like an afterthought, which is great that it's in there, but I definitely think, and this is the name of the game with this one, a second edition of this game with revised rules and additional rules and maybe some upgraded components could be absolutely just humongous. It could be an evergreen sort of game in this particular niche of the hobby, I do believe. That's how good this game is. But we're talking to we're on the cons. We're on the cons. It's a little wonky in end of half situations on artificial intelligence, and most of these rules are actually just things that are like that. I would like an FAQ as well. You know, kind of the thing at the back. Where they have the advanced rules, but I would like a big page in the back where it's just like, here are the FAQ, because I was like safeties, kickoffs, onside kicks, punts, Hail Marys, all those things that are like really situational. It'd be nice if I didn't have to flip through the rule booklet, but if it was all just back there. Especially there's some charts. There's some very important charts for how the Hail Marys work and the safeties and different stuff like that. So I would like to have those charts just more readily available. That would be really nice, because they do include this large player board, and the large player board is really useful, but if you made it even bigger, which might be something that is GameCrafter cannot do. No, I imagine they can do it, but it's probably going to cost a little bit extra. Is have more stuff on here, more graphs, more things. Because if you're getting into this game, like, you're on the deep end. Like, this is not a heavy Euro game, but this is a heavy sports game. Ameritrash, I guess it would be, because the theme's so strong. I don't know. But this is a relatively heavy game, just learning all the rules. Now, the gameplay itself is actually really simple and really streamlined, and I think we're done talking about the cons. I think you've got it. I've hammered on it enough. Here's the consensus I want to tell you on the pros. I'm giving this an 8. But with a revised second edition of this is easily a Bauer's best seal. That's how good this game is. If you are a football fan, do not hesitate. Get this game if you have the time to invest to learn the rules. And yes, I do want to say that I harped on the AI a lot, but it's a fantastic way to learn the rules. And, you know, the AI is just so good. So let's just go down the list of things I love about Breakaway Football. So first and foremost, I love how the card system works. It's really ingenious. So you're going to have 15 offensive cards, and once you've used those 15 cards, or those 15 cards have gone away because your opponent used some of them, because we'll talk about that a little bit later, the quarter's over. That's really clever. I like that. And then when the quarter starts, you get all your cards back. But that sort of has a game inside of the game, because what cards you're going to keep are going to be dependent on maybe what the situation is. So that's really interesting. I did like that an awful lot. Also, the timeouts. Really cool how the timeouts work. The timeouts are going to allow you to get a card from your discard pile to extend the quarter, extend the half. That makes a lot of sense. I really like how the dice rolling works on the AI. And I want to talk about the AI pretty extensively, because I thought it was really, really awesome, and it feels good, because this is the sheet. And this is, like, if you watch NFL football, you're like, oh yeah, this looks like the kind of sheet that they would have on the sideline. They'd have it up to their nose, get the snot all over it. And this is really ingenious. Essentially, it's a dice rolling system where the higher numbers you roll, the more likely they are going to try and prevent your pass, whereas the lower numbers you roll, the more likely they're going to try to prevent your run. And depending on the situation, like how far you have to go, or how high, or how, you know, the score of the game. So if you're up 9 or down 9, you're going to be just like in regular football, if you are down 9, so if the AI is down 9, they're much more likely to go pass heavy because they need to catch up. There's a lot of added little touches there. And that's the biggest thing that I love about this game, is that it absolutely feels like it was lovingly crafted. Some games feel like they're made. They're just created. This game was crafted, I imagine, over a very long period of time. And what they did was they just kept cramming more things into the game. Somewhere along the line, I wonder if someone was like, no, make this game more simple. And they were like, you shut your mouth. You shut your dirty mouth. We are going hard on this game. And it pays off because they went hard. Everything works together so well and so beautifully. And the fact that there's 20 teams, that is so cool. Like, that 20 different teams, and the teams have their own unique things. I haven't even mentioned this. The teams have their own unique attributes. Like, this one's really good at special teams, and this one's really good at getting those interceptions or those sacks. So maybe they're more likely to give up big plays because they got like the guys that just go for the interceptions instead of the tackles. But that means that probably once a game you're going to get that sack. That's good. That strip fumble, that interception. And I really like how that worked. So I would love to eventually, and then a second edition. Yeah, let's get all 20 teams in it. Let's go hard on this big boy. Because I honestly think that if they were to throw this on Kickstarter, and they were to get that niche to be notified of this game and see the gameplay of this, I think they would go absolutely freaking nuts. They'd be like, wow, you can throw challenge flags, and wow, the artificial intelligence actually works well. They just need to fix those issues that I mentioned in the cons, and I think this is absolutely a must-own football game. And as it stands right now, yes, I think that if you like football, this is a must-own game. And if you're willing to invest the time. Let me rephrase that. If you're into gateway games, or if you're into, say, lighter family-style games, this one is probably not going to be for you, because it definitely it does have that fiddly aspect with all the different rules. But if you are into the medium or plus games and you like football and you have someone else to play this with, or you're willing to maybe just kind of lean on the artificial intelligence a little bit and help them out from time to time based on what is or isn't in the rules, and maybe there might be an FAQ. Hopefully there's an update that talks about the missing things that I did have issues with. But anywho, Breakaway Football. Easy recommendation if you like football, an easy not recommendation if you don't like football. So there you go. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. Consider supporting the channel by clicking on the Amazon Associates link down below. Buy anything on Amazon, or consider supporting the Patreon down below, where I give away a game every single month. In the comments below, let me know, what is your favorite football game of all time? And let's just open the gambit up. We'll talk about video games or board games. For me personally, board games, I actually just said it was this one, and I do believe that. I do have Red Zone up there, which is very, very good, but I think this has usurped it by leaps and bounds with the amount of complexity in the game. But on the... oh, man. It would probably be maybe NFL 2K... yeah, I think NFL 2K, because I remember going to my GameStop in my mall and getting Xbox Live the first day it came out. And one of the launch games for it was NFL 2K, I do believe. And there was Mech Assault. And NFL 2K, me and my friends played that online all the time. We would have 4 or 5 people in my room watching us play, because the cool thing was you could talk to the person on there. And the thing that a lot of younger people, I should say, don't remember is when Xbox Live first launched, everybody was talking because they included the dongle, the thing that you could talk with. And that was a big deal, being able to talk to the people as you were playing with them. And so you used to have, hour-long conversations with these people, and that was spectacular, and I had so much fun doing that. And sometimes we'd have all 4 or 5 of us just kind of talking on it, and we'd have that person coming through the TV volume while we were playing. It was a lot of fun. But let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite football game of all time? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.